Hello, hello! Welcome back to your Nova Open Age of Sigmar GT coverage. We're about to kick off round 5. 3 more games left after this in this event. This is an 8-round GT. We're bringing you 2 more undefeated players for the first time on stream here this weekend. We're going to have the one and only the Nuge, all the way from California with his Beast of Chaos Darkwalkers. He's going to have a Doom Bull with a standard Bestial Cunning, so he'll be able to drop something out of reserve 7 inches away from his opponent, anyone on the table. He's also got his Great Bray Shaman, Merciless Blizzard this time. Saw Great Bray Shaman, I believe yesterday on stream, but was never in range to cast anything. We'll see if Nuge goes for that Blizzard with the Shaman in this matchup. He's also got the Zangor Shaman, also with the Merciless Blizzard. So Nuge looking to throw plenty of dirty snowballs this game. He's got that brick of 9 Bulgors, pretty standard. Whenever you see Bestial Cunning in a list and on Doom Bull, you're going to have 9 Bulgors. Looking to just drop them on the table, find a hole for them, charge in with 9 mortal wounds, and then tear things up. We saw Owen Jackson yesterday play on stream. He elected to equip his Bulgors with an Axe and Shield, opting for a more defensive route. Nuge has opted to use paired cleaving axes, so going to be a lot of damage output coming from these Bulgors, which he's going to need when we get to his opponent's list. He's also got 1 unit of Ungors, and then 3 units of 10 Ungor Raiders. Don't know how effective these Ungor Raiders are going to be. They do have the ability to, when they're in reserve, shoot at the start of the movement phase from off the board edge, but their shooting doesn't have any rend to it, and I don't think it's going to really do anything against this formidable list we're about to get to soon. He's also got 3 Zangor Fiendbloods, and then 2 units of 6 Zangor Enlightened, which I think these are going to be the deciding factors in the game. Zangor Enlightened, if you're in combat with them, you cannot issue or receive commands, and they hit like a truck, especially if he's got that Herdstone up that's improving the rend of all of these beasts. And that's it. That's his entire list. So, why is the rend a concern? Because on his opponent's side, we found him a really tough opponent in this mix. Gavin Gregor, the 2-time ITC winner, is here on stream. Gavin is playing OCR Bone Reapers this weekend. He is running that Null Myriad sub-faction where he gets to, on a 2-up, ignore a spell, which is going to be great against those Blizzards. Gavin will just be able to look at his opponent, roll 2-up, and say, not today. Gavin is running Archon the Black. Been speaking with the Gavin. We all think Archon the Black is so good in OBR. Archon has access to all of the spell lore, so it's got a ton of utility in Archon and can bring back slain models to units. It's also got Catacross, and this is why the rend is super important here. Catacross has that command ability that he can give all of the units in this army +1 to their save, and we're going to see the saves start stacking up here. He's also got, for his general, the Mortison Ossifector. Now this is a unique little piece of tech that Gavin's brought in this list. He's got the diversionary tactic, so if you're within 12, you're -3 to your charge rolls. And for his artifact, he's taking the Gothazard Cartouche, which is a bubble of +1 to wound rolls. And to take advantage of all of these buffs, the +1 to hit from coming from Catacross, +1 to wound rolls, he's got a brick of 6 Immortus Guard. So his Immortus Guard, they're standing nearby, already going to be on 2s and 2s to hit and wound. So that'll free up a command for this Immortus Guard to potentially increase their rend characteristic, increase their ward saves, a lot of flexibility. And then he's got 3 units of Death Riders. Death Riders, battle line unit, 180 points. One of the cheaper options at 180 points. Bit of mobility to them. They're able to bring back models to the Immortus Guard and the Death Riders from both Arcan and Catacross. Also, the Death Riders do have a battle tactic specific to them, so very easy to score points with them. And then to round out the list, a Bone-type Shrieker to prevent any sorts of inspiring presence from his opponent. And that's the list, exactly 2,000 points. Gavin has already recently gone 5-0 with OBR out on the West Coast in the land of the Nuge. So now here on the East Coast, can Nuge can he get revenge here? So you see Nuge at the bottom of your screen, Gavin at the top, repping the Team America jersey. Gavin did play in Worlds this past year. Was the only player at AoS Worlds this past year in Amsterdam to play with Seraphon. So while he was the greatest Seraphon player there in that team event, he was also the worst Seraphon player. It's the price you pay for being unique. So both players setting up the mysterious terrain. This is the battle plan for Spring the Trap, so they'll be able to put D3 of their units in reserve off the table, bring them in later. 3 objectives across the board. Hold 1, hold 2, hold more. Which is also going to limit Nuge's Herdstone placement. So Nuge would love to put his Herdstone all the way in a corner, as Archon the Black could potentially go in and smash it. So he's going to have to be very careful with where he places this Herdstone. For those joining in, we've got Gavin Greiger at the top of your screen. Griggles himself from Prom-Based Heroes, all the way out from Texas. 2-time ITC winner. He is playing Ossiarch Bone Reapers. And at the bottom of our screen, Matt the Nuge, all the way out from California. He's currently, they're both on 4-0 right now in this event. And Nuge is running Beast of Chaos at the bottom of your screen.
Anthony summoning twice?
No, the bubble.
Huh? It was? Oh. Was Thomas...
So, clearing up a little bit of rules we had some TOs walking by. Been quite a few rules questions at this event, but we have an amazing staff on hand. We even have Gareth Thomas, one of the TOs from AoS Worlds this past year, a stickler for the rules. James O'Brien, our head judge here, keeping everything running very smoothly. He's also supported by Jordan, Mike Vaginos, Ted Adams. He's assembled an all-star team here to keep this event running. So both players still setting up. The game has not started yet. It is a very kind of small deployment. So you only have the bubble 22 inches up the table and then 15 inches in from each of those left and right table edges. That would be your territory, and then you still have to set up 9 inches away from your opponent's territory. So you see Gavin measuring out, lining up a unit of Cavalos Death Riders, essentially on the edge of where he can deploy. So I think those Cavalos are all the way as far up the board as he can put them. And you can already see his terrain piece, that big old Bone-type Nexus all the way on your left-hand side up there. Nuge has found a little spot, a little nook and cranny under that giant piece of terrain at the bottom of the screen to hide his Herdstone. Herdstone, extremely important for these Beast of Chaos players, as at the start of the second battle round, it improves the rend of all of his melee weapons by 1, and at the start of the second battle round, it improves it by 2. Ossiarch Bone Reapers, known for being a very elite army, very hard to kill in melee. They're very known for their high 3-up base saves, He's got Catacross to put them all to 2-up saves. And then on top of it, things like all-out defense, Mystic Shields. So every bit of rent here is going to help Nuge. So we'll see if he tries to delay a lot of these engagements to either that past that turn 2 and try to force some engagements in round 4 when he gets that extra 2 rend. He does have 2 units of 6 enlightened on foot, which do shut off commands if you're in combat with them. So he's probably going to be looking to keep them protected, keep them safe, until he can pull the trigger with them on round 4 and start scooping up these units. And he's going to have to scoop up the units in pretty much one go, because Catacross and Archon do have the ability to return slain models to these units. We did see Gavin in round 3. It was off stream, but he was able to defeat the Terror of Tom Guan's 140 zombie list. I was able to catch the last couple minutes of that game. And essentially, Gavin only had, I think, 5 models off the table that were slain. And almost the entire Soulblight army was dead. So Gavin was able to outgrind all of those zombies, return bodies through Archon and Catagros. And I don't think he lost a single unit that game. So this event running off of Best Coast Pairings, we do have Garrett Mulroney from Best Coast Pairings here live with our judges working out the systems, because after this game there will be a whole hour-long break and the top 8 players will go into their own 8-player pod, and then the rest of the players at that time, we have over 160 players, and they will have the option of just dropping after a traditional 5-round GT, or they can stick around and play through another 3 games, because they're going to be put in 8-player pods. Each little pod will have their own champion and award. So even if you go 0-5, you could get put into you would then be put into a pod at that point if you wanted to continue, and that pod would only contain players that finish similar to you at 0-5, or even just a 1 win and 4 losses, and you would only play amongst those folks for the next 3 games. And you could potentially 3-0 the last 3 games and win your pod. Our best overall awards are being taken into account over the entire all 8 rounds. It's a bit of a new format here, so we're going to see how it works here at Nova Open. The brainchild of the head judge, James O'Brien, and his team. So, quick peek at the grand strats here. Gavin has taken Spellcasting Savant, and he has that one general, that Mortisan Ossifector. So he's going to be looking to keep that Ossifector alive, which should be very doable, because the only shooting from the Nuge are those Ungor Raiders with a whole whopping 0 rend. On the other side of the table, Nuge's grand strat is Desecrating Brayherd, so he's going to be looking to control 2 objectives with Brayherd units at the end of the game, which is his Great Bray Shaman. I believe the Zangor Shaman's Brayherd. He's got 1 unit of Ungors, 3 Ungor Raiders, 2 Zangor Enlightened, and he does have his little Bray Blast Trumpet to summon another unit. So Gavin, he's using his terrain piece on the left-hand side to help screen out against Beasts of Chaos. And he's got 3 units of Kavalos Death Riders that he's wrapping his entire army in a bubble. Because Beasts of Chaos essentially can just put like 1 model on the table, or even just everything off the table. And what they can do is just perform actions from off the table edge. So we'll be able to shoot from the table edge once, He'll be able to perform heroic actions off the table edge, and then he'll be able to pop in from either the table edges or using his bestial cunning command trait to have those Bulgors pop up anywhere on the table 7 inches away. So Gavin's trying to respect that, make sure that his army is screened off, that it doesn't leave a gap for Nuge to potentially turn 1, get 9 Bulgors into a key piece like Archon or Katakros. So very wisely using that massive terrain piece of his to help screen out that left-hand side. Nuge's Herdstone all the way at the bottom of the screen. He needs to keep that safe, because if Archon the Black is able to get within 3 of it, he could potentially smash the Rebel on a 3-up, destroy the Hearthstone. It has been a lot of Warhammer here at Nova, 4 days long. We had on Thursday a 16-player invitational, which Gavin did play in. No, Gavin did not play in the invitational. He took a break, explored the city, explored all of the fine museums and landmarks that DC has to offer. Also on Thursday, there was a doubles event as well as an RTT. So we did have about 100 or so players playing Warhammer on Thursday. The GT kicked off yesterday morning. We had 3 rounds yesterday. There are 3 rounds today, with the final 2 rounds coming tomorrow. Both these players on 4-0. So the winner of this game, guaranteeing a spot in that top 8 cut. Based on the standings, it looks like we're going to have 5 5-0 players. There it is. There's the handshake. There's the faces. We've got Nuge. There's the dab. We are off to the start of this game. Gavin will be able to dictate who goes first. He is very bubbled up. I'm assuming he's probably going to give it to the Nuge, see what Nuge is able to do, and then spring out from there.
You're going to see him on the way over there.
So both players rolling their primal dice. I'm going to take a quick peek, see what Nuge is committed to the board. He does have that unit of 10 Ungors, which are going to be pretty useless in this matchup. But I'll take a look, see what he's committed to the board. If he's done anything else in that, he's likely put everything else off the table. So Nuge only has those Ungors on the table, as well as his Zangor Shaman, which you can't really see. That big tower at the bottom of the table, there's his Zangor Shaman on disc just chilling behind there. And he's chilling because he has the Blizzard. So, looks like Nuge going for magical dominance. Top of 1, staying outside of unbind range. This is the 3rd time these two have paired. Oh my gosh. I know Gavin won the last time, and I can only assume that Gavin won the first meeting at the San Diego Open. You never know. Anything's possible here at Nova Open. We've already had not 1, but 2 times where a player has rolled a 1 for priority on stream and won the priority roll. We've seen a Vampire Lord blow himself up casting Merciless Blizzard. We've seen Nagash miscast. We've seen a Vargul make a wildly long charge and pick up an opposing general, denying a grand strat. We've also seen a Kronspine fail to eat an endless spell and go down a level. Absolutely, the battle between Texas and Cali. We wouldn't have it any other way. You know, this is just Warhammer Age of Sigmar being played in the States. If you're joining us from overseas, this is just what happens. You get to round 5, you gotta have your California-Texas showdown. So already Doom Bull, you see off your screen, he's already taken some mortal wounds, performed some heroic actions. Nuge thinking maybe he can get lucky. Killed Gavin's general with D6 mortal wounds, possibly. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be huge if Nuge can get super lucky. He's got 30 Ungor Raiders off the table that shoot on 4s and 4s. Not the best of shooting, but do have the potential to perhaps snipe off that general. So, unsure if Gavin knows about that and has hidden his general. Take a look, see if he did put his general behind that terrain piece. But I'm pretty sure Gavin, super big brain that he is, has hidden it somewhere. And as I was suspecting, his general is hidden in front of the terrain piece. So you'll see there's 6 Immortus Guard wrapping around from the top of the screen down and then to the right. And then to the right of that last Immortus Guard is his Ossiarch Ossifector. This is why nobody runs that model. We don't know what its name is. We don't know how it's even pronounced. But Gavin, knowing that his opponent could potentially make it move 2d6 towards the table edge and then shoot it with 30 Ungor Raiders, use the terrain to his advantage, made sure that there's no way that Matt could potentially shoot it off the table. So Nuge is just unloading all of these shots. This happens at the start of the movement phase, once per battle, if those units are in reserve. It looks like he's just unloading them into those Cavalos Death Riders. Killing a single one, actually 2, maybe? Looks like just a single Cavalos Death Rider. Not going to do a whole lot as Gavin will be taking bottom of 1 and will most likely see that Cavalos Death Rider return to the board. So perhaps Nuge thinking that he might want to commit his Raiders to the table here. Gavin having some issues with his tape measure. I think that's probably the 3rd or 4th time the top of that tower has fallen off. It's not secured down. But He wants to move his Zangor Shaman to within 30 of Archon the Black, just looking to make sure that he has an Unbind available. So if you're just joining us, top of your screen, both these players 4-0. We've got Gavin Greiger, two-time ITC winner, with his OCR Bone Reapers, versus Matt the Nooge, all the way up from California. At the bottom of your screen, Beast of Chaos, and apparently their third meeting of round 5 of the event. These guys are no strangers to this position. But this time, we've got the video evidence of it, don't we? If there's any questions, feel free to shoot them in chat, and I'll see what I can do. So, already some of those Ungor Raiders popping up, security objectives. It is a hold 1, hold 2, hold more, and score battle tactic. Nooge is definitely going to want to just play these board edges, focus on that left and the right objective. Does not want to tango right up the middle against OBR. Nobody wants to take OBR head on. I have no idea. I'll have to ask him at this point. They might be a thing. He's bringing on those Ungor Raiders. It looks like he's bringing out his Zangor behind. He's got 2 units of 6 Zangor Enlightened. These guys, by turn 2, especially on turn 4, they hit like a truck. They have a lot of attacks that start at rend 1, 2 damage. When Beasts of Chaos get to round 2, that Herdstone on the table improves all of the rend by 1. And on turn 4, it improves the rend by 2. So his Enlightened could get cranked up to rend 2, 2 damage, and eventually to rend 3, 2 damage. If you're in combat with them, you cannot issue or receive commands. So no alt defense available if you're in combat with those things. So what Nooge is looking to do is put down the Ungor Raiders, and then make sure that if the Ungor Raiders are charged, they will pull in the Zangor Enlightened into combat, so he'll be able to counter swing with the Zangor Enlightened. And we'll likely see a similar setup on the other end of the table. There's just no reason for him to move up or put anything on the center. The only way you can even put anything on that center objective is if he uses his Bestial Cunning command trait. But he really wants to save that with his 9 Bulgors, to be able to pop them out when the opportunity presents itself. So Nooge measuring out the max distance. You see he put a die down. He measured out how far those Cavalos Death Riders are able to move. And now he's setting up a unit of Ungor Raiders, just towing that objective, knowing that Cavalos Death Riders only count as 1 each on objective. And if you can put all 10 bodies on there, boom. The Beast of Chaos Grand Strat in this one is the Desecrating Brayherd. So you have to control 2 of these objectives with Brayherd units at the end of the battle. A lot of players have been going for that Protect the Herdstone. Unfortunately, I feel like the Protect the Herdstone can get shut down quite a lot. Owen Jackson also was on stream yesterday, and he chose this same grand strat of just controlling 2 objectives with the Brayherd units. Looks like he's setting up a similar kind of trap there. He's putting his Ungor Raiders in front, and he's trying to set up 6 Zangor Enlightened right behind them in a position where if those Ungors get charged, the Enlightened will get pulled in to combat. And I'm going to take a venture to guess that this probably will be the end of his movement, because I don't think there's any reason to really put anything else on the board at this point. Since these territories, the entire left and right, 15 inches from those board edges, those areas are not in anybody's territory. So there are a lot of open battle tactics available. where he can intimidate invaders, he can set up a surround. But joining me here, the one and only Sean Clark, current Captain America of Team USA. Very familiar with both of these players.
Yeah, I feel like I finally arrived. I'm on the stream here.
All the way out from the Midwest, but
Yep.
I did not see you traveling with a display board.
No display board, no models, no dice, no tape measures. I traveled with just the clothes on my back and the ones in my suitcase.
Sometimes that's all you need for
Yeah,
Novo, but
yeah,
there's so much
yeah.
to do here, so much to see.
Yeah. So
Alright,
what I missed? Is this bottom of one or top of one?
This is top of one.
Yeah.
Matt deployed his shaman outside of unbound range, went for magical dominance. He's basically just popping up on these table
Yep.
edges with his Ungor Raiders. They already burnt their starter movement phase to just shoot to the table edge.
Yep.
I mean, accomplish nothing. You kill one Death
Right,
Rider, it's
right,
going to come back.
Right.
Now, he's popping up on the-
Did Gavin deep strike anything with the mission, or is all sat in the castle
Nope,
there?
He's completely castled up. Gavin says, I don't
I'll
care
be
about the
here.
mission. I'm
Yeah.
just OBR.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just going to do my thing. So I like how he did screen out on the left-hand side with his giant-ass terrain piece.
Yeah.
Using that to screen out where the Brolgors can come. And the huge heads-up play to put the Asa Vector General in front of the terrain so it couldn't get shot from the board edge.
It's good. It's good.
That's why he's a
Gavin,
two-time
that's-
ITC winner,
That's
huh?
why he doesn't lose games. I love watching Gavin play Warhammer. He's really good.
And then Noosh just taking his turn, moving up. He started 10 Ungors on the table down there. Just shuffling things
So
around.
Gavin's he's a one drop, right? So he gave
Gavin
me
would be a 2 at least.
two drop
because
because he had
Catacross and
Archon. Yeah, but he gave the turn to
Yep.
Noosh.
So Noosh has absolutely surrendered the center of the board. No surprise, because you don't want to go toe-to-toe too early with OBR.
Yeah.
But any bold predictions for you here?
Well, I think it's going to come down to the pryos for sure. I think it's going to be tough for Noosh to lift a lot of the key OBR pieces. I think he's probably going to target the horses. I think that's what the list kind of revolves around, the horses and Archon. If you can put pressure on those pieces and kind of let the Immortus sit on one point. Gavin's probably going to push them up the middle. It's kind of where they are. So I'm curious to see which direction Gavin chooses to break out of his castle. Probably to his left, I would imagine. Like you said, the terrain piece covering the right side. It's a close game. It's a good mission. I think favors Nuge probably a little bit, but OBR are really strong, and this list in particular has a lot of movement, so I think he can make up some ground pretty well.
Have you been enjoying all the other games so far?
Oh, there's some amazing pairings this round. I was just walking around watching some of the top tables over there, and some really interesting matchups. Cruel Boys, of course, 4-0, right?
Yeah, we got Jacob
So there's-
Brandon playing Cruel Boys and the Scooters
Against
4-0.
Scooters, Iron Jaws. Yeah.
That was a tough one. We could have put that one on stream, but
Yeah.
Scooter is so far in first place. It's point differential that if Scooter loses,
He
he's
still
most
makes
likely
it.
just making
Yeah,
the top
yeah,
10 anyway.
yeah, that makes sense.
And Jacob Brandon was on stream in our invitational
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah, I watched their first turn. So Scooter gave Jacob top of 1, and he proceeded to shoot off 7 of the 10 brutes in the brute unit with his Bolt Boys. Scored 5 and passed the turn. So it's going to be a good game, for sure. And of course, there's the belt match happening. Noah and Bread, Slanesh and Beasts. That's another fun one that's going down this round too. So I'm glad I get to walk around it and not play. Playing is great, but I love watching Warhammer.
I asked Brad if he wanted that on stream, and,
Yeah.
and Brad looked at me wide-eyed and said, honestly, every time I play, I always feel like it's 2-on-1. He's feeling the pressure
Yeah.
no matter where. And
Yeah.
he's more comfortable playing
Yeah.
off stream. But he gets to play Noah.
Yeah,
How much fun is that going to be?
Yeah, everybody wins in that situation for sure. And of course, it's a tough crowd belt match as well. So the interdimensional AoS champion of the multiverse or something like that.
We
so.
have seen the belt change hands. Noah did win it in his last game.
Yep.
with Barton
Oh, and
Kemley.
Bart won it earlier. Or no, yesterday.
No, he won it in Ashcon, I think.
No, yeah. Either way, I think Bart won it yesterday. Either way, the belt's changing hands. I think Noah probably keeps it in this matchup, but we'll see.
Anthony Trentinelli's still in the mix. Noah
Yep.
and Anthony are both 4-0, so there is a chance later on
Another belt match.
we could have another
It's
belt
got to be
match.
on the stream. We got to talk to those guys if it happens.
If it happens at that point,
Yeah.
we'll likely see another belt match.
So I think there were 11 4-0s going into this. Is that right?
It
So
was 10 4-0s.
yeah, it was 10 or 11. The app was somehow behind. So it seems like 1 or 2 4-1s will be in the top 8, which is good. So lots of players still in the mix.
Either 2 or 3 4-1s.
Yeah, 2 or 3. Yeah.
We did see yesterday Gavin taking a win off of Tom Guan by
Yep.
2 points.
Yep.
Tom started today in 56th position.
Yeah.
after his last game, moved all the way up to 20th.
Yeah, so he's got a chance. He's playing against Coalesce right now, down around table 20 something. So if he ekes out a big
loves his
win,
odds against
yeah,
everyone,
if he can sneak out a big win, he could find his way back into the top 8. We just can't get rid of the zombies.
It just seems, yeah, every time you think you're done with Tom Gone, he just kind of loiters
Yeah,
back,
he
just
just
shows up with his card again.
Yeah, yeah. All right, are we still on turn 1 here? Looks like
Oh yeah,
it.
we're gonna.
It's gonna be a while.
Gonna be a while. Oh no, we're in Gavin's turn. He chose Magical Dominance.
Yep.
Gavin's starting his
Probably
turn
got
off.
it.
But I'm sure you've got a lot of Warhammer if you want to.
Yeah.
Check around,
I want to
but
see
you're
who
more
wins.
than
I want
welcome
to see who wins the prio, and then I'm gonna walk around. I don't think Gavin. I want to see which way Gavin goes here.
I'm curious because with the terrain piece so close to that building, though, he doesn't have a lot of room to maneuver around, especially Catacross. Catacross is super slow, isn't he?
Yeah, he moves 4. He can go up to 7, obviously, with the OBR command ability, or he can just force run himself 6 to go 10. So either way, he's not going too far. Where is he? Is he behind the building there?
Yeah, he's got
Yeah.
Catacross and Archon behind the building. I'll take a peek to see which one's which. I believe Catacross is the one on our right.
Yeah, the blue base I think is Catacross. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Archon's
I think
the
Gavin
one
is
that-
probably content here just to score his 5 and hoping to win the turn and force Noosh to come on the board, because you can't do much when the whole army's off the board. So
Yeah,
I don't expect too many big moves here, just enough to score his 5. Toe
You
into
think
the
he's
center.
gonna score 5 because there's so many
Is
bodies.
there 10 guys on
the
the
left
one on
and
the left? Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, he's not going to get the right for sure. Is there 10 guys on there? I can't tell.
right. Yeah, he put all 10 Ungor Raiders on both objectives.
Yeah, so he
and
would-
then behind them put his units of 6 Angor Enlightened.
Yeah. He can get it if he wants to. He can tow in 5 horses, and Archon can probably make it there. He moves
You don't want
21.
to move Archon out there too far.
Yeah,
Those
probably not.
Bulgors,
Yeah. He's got the Bulgar unit that can come on
and then,
board wide.
pull a
Yeah.
screen 2d6
Yeah.
toward the board
Yeah.
edge.
He's probably not worth scoring the extra point, but we'll see what he does.
Yeah, he might be more content just accepting
Be down a point
3-point turn, go down, put yourself in a better position because
Yeah.
there's a lot on the line here. The winner of this basically guaranteeing themselves
Yep.
a top 8 position.
Yep.
The loser could be rough. They might find themselves in a different
Yeah.
pod after
Yeah.
this.
It depends on what their battle. This is table 3, right? So that doesn't actually mean
I don't-
anything
I
for
don't
battle
think it's-
points, right? Because it's random in bracket. I know Gavin's got a couple of big wins, also a couple of small wins. So it's yeah, a big loss from either of these guys could force them out of the top 8. You got it here.
I don't know if these standings are accurate, but we did have
Yep.
Matt in 10th and Gavin in 13th
Yeah.
according to the app right now. But
Yeah.
I think,
Either way,
I think all this
I think
has
it's.
changed
Oh,
'cause
what's happening here? Horses moving.
the horses are moving.
You could also charge them, right? I mean,
You could,
you have
but,
to charge mortals.
but Nuge did position those Angor Enlightened, so that
They're
way
at-
if
right
they
at
get
3,
charged,
they can pile
he's
in.
able to pile
Yeah.
in.
It is hard to see perspective on this screen. They're measuring now. Gavin must have asked them. Yeah, looks like they are right at 3 to the front there.
Yeah, I remember Nuge was putting down all of those and very carefully
Okay.
with his 3-inch.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, it's the right play. Otherwise, the horses just blow up those Ungor, and he scores the point. I think no problem.
Yeah, and then if Gavin wins priority, he just picks up the Enlightened.
Yeah.
So,
Enlightened are interesting with blocking commands against OBR. They could be a really key piece in this game with their movement and the command blocking. They can pick up the horses, which I think is what Nuge probably wants them to be doing, flying around just picking up Death Riders.
looks like Gavin is liking the really
He's taking the middle.
go right towards the middle.
My guess is he's trying to space the board out and limit, as you mentioned, Emma, where those Bulgor can come down, and try to give away top of 2 and force Nuge to put him down in kind of a suboptimal spot.
Catacross moving out now. Do you think he's going to just fly Archon around this building and just leave Catacross with his butt exposed? Thinking Catacross is pretty safe?
He's a 2-up save. I wouldn't want to get charged by 9 Bulgor. The mortals are a
They
problem.
do the paired axes.
Oh, okay.
So they don't have those great axes with the extra
Got it.
end.
Okay, so this comes down to the charge mortals, right? Because in the charge phase, OBR can't do the 5-up ward, so he only has a 6-up ward against the charge mortals. So if he can put
He's only casual like what 20
wounds with a stock 3-up, +1 from his command ability, so a 2-up. If Gavin really feels like that's a threat, he can Finest Hour and be a 0+ save. So again, apart from a bunch of charge mortals and failing some saves, he's probably safe.
Gavin's going really wide with his Death Riders.
Yeah.
Do you think he's just trying to charge in, tag the Enlightened at like the edge? Because he doesn't have to fight all of it at once.
My guess is Archon's going to fly up into the middle, and he's trying to just zone out that part of the board and make the Bulgor come in on a less threatening spot. I'm curious. The Immortus just have to go straight forward, I think. There's not really much.
He can land Archon right next to the Immortus and have that bodyguard, right? They pass off on a 3-up.
2 up.
2 up.
Yeah.
OBR, pretty good, I
they're
hear.
pretty good, yeah. Yeah. It's a 2 up. It's a compulsory pass. You have to do it. It's not optional. The Archon's going to fly out there. That's interesting.
There's a reason he is 2-time ITC winner.
I don't question Gavin. So what's been your favorite game you've streamed so far, Emma? Out of the, how many have you done so far? 3, 4, 5, 6. This is number 8?
This is number 9.
Number
right
9,
now.
okay.
There have been so many close games.
Yeah.
The Invitational was crazy.
Yeah.
We had Caleb and Math Mallow was a phenomenal game. That was super close. But I think the game after that we had, strangely enough, was Tom Guan's Zombie List versus Jacob Brandon with Cruel Boys.
Yep.
And it came down to like a 2 or 3 point game.
Yep. I watched a good bit of that game. I was traveling the beginning of the week for work, but that was going to be my favorite one that I watched. Just watching the Cruel Boys kind of dance around, pick up pieces, and just play the game, and put a surprising amount of pressure on the zombies. Like he killed a ton of zombies.
He went really hard turn 1, super aggressive. Like
Okay, yeah, I missed the beginning, so he went hard in the beginning.
What happened in the beginning of that game was Belladama was kind of deployed on the line.
Yeah. Okay.
Didn't realize that Lookout started as a
because she's mounted.
Because she's mounted. So Jacob, being an absolute sport, said, "Would you like to move around?"
Move back, yeah.
Tom said, "How dare you show me sports? I'm gonna show you even better sports." Said,
Yeah,
no,
I'm not going to
mistake."
check it. Yeah, play by it.
So he full sent in both his big birds and Scumdrek
Yeah.
into, there was Belladama, some wolves, and 40 zombies.
Okay.
Called his wasp so he got to fight with them all.
Yep.
And picked up the wolves, but only left Belladama on like 2 or 3 wounds. She
Yeah.
survived.
Yep.
Most of the zombies died and then fled. I think they fled the battle shock. They were just gone.
Yeah.
And then,
Cruel Boys can put a lot of pressure on for
but
sure.
then Lockaby walked on over, picked up Gotsprek.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she can do that. Yeah.
She did that. But then immediately got shot off the table.
Is this Archon out here on the flank now? By the tower? Yeah.
I have no idea. What is he thinking with Archon all the way out there?
Yeah, he's probably in Catacros's bubble. I would imagine Gavin measured that. So he's on a 2-up save, but and he auto heals 6. So it's gonna be close. he'll be on a 2-up. He can find a Salary as well. So he can be on a 1-up or 2-up, 5-up basically. He might live.
And here we go, Gavin charging in those Death Riders.
Yep. Did you see the charge roll? Did you notice what he rolled? Because of course the Death Riders get the impact hits, so whatever they roll on the dice, it's that many 5-ups for the mortals. Yeah. Because he could clear some of those Ungor, and then if he wants, he can tag 9. Yeah. So that's 3 or 4 mortals, and they also get 6-inch pylon when they charge. So Gavin's got a lot of options here. Depending on how many 5-ups he rolls on these impact hits and how many of those Ungor just die.
What don't get the Death Riders get? Is there anything they don't do besides shooting?
I mean, they only count as 1 on objective, so that's pretty bad.
Can't cast a spell
He
either,
can't cast
right?
any spells either.
Probably buff 'em.
Such a good unit. The OBR army really revolves around the Death Riders and how you can space the board, you can pin things, they can kill things if they need to.
There we go. Looks like 4 Ungor Raiders picked
Okay.
up by those. He's still reaching for more.
5 out of 9 5-ups from Gavin. That's pretty strong.
He's really good at Warhammer.
He's so good at Warhammer. Did Archon use Soul Release? That's a really good question. Archon probably cast Soul Release. It's a spell from the OBR lore that means nothing can be set up within 12 of him. So I'm sure he got that spell off, and that's why he's out on the flank. Great point there by Bear in the chat. So if the Bulgor wants to go into him, it's a 12-inch charge.
Well, if they can't be set up within 12, they can't declare a charge.
True. Yep. That's true. They can't even declare it.
Unless they'd have to be. Oh, he might even have to screen them out near the Death Riders
Yeah.
too. But
Yeah, it's a very underrated spell. Archon is such a great toolbox for the OBR army. The spell lore is just really, really good. I mean, it's not a lot of big damage, things like that, but just such a really techy spell lore.
Well, the utility, then you can like subtract 1 from saves to
Drain Vitality is the standout spell for sure. -1 hit, -1 save.
power weapons.
And Archon, of course, knowing the full lore and getting 3 casts at a +2 with Primal Dice, he just, yeah, it's huge.
There's a couple of us talking about it yesterday, including Gavin. We were talking about OBR, and that a lot of OBR players have been choosing not to include Archon, and Gavin's just shaking his head, going,
Yeah.
"You have to."
Yeah,
Archon's
yeah.
So good.
I play OBR myself, and I've tried with and without. I actually ran the same list Gavin's playing here at NashCon, and had a great time. It was one of my 2 lists was this one, and it feels really light on the board, only having so few units, but Archon is surprisingly tanky. He's super fast, and is a great toolbox.
Yeah, it looks like from this position, there's nowhere that those Bulgors
Right.
can come on and make a charge on.
Yeah, I'm sure Gavin planned this whole turn after he got slow release off. That kind of dictated how he was able to spread the board.
He does seem really good at this game.
Yeah.
And he did find a spot where he was able to charge in those Ungors and also prevent
Yeah.
the Enlightened.
What's in the back there on the left? That unit of Nuge's
Those are Enlightened as well. He's got 2 units of 6 Enlightened on foot.
on foot. Okay. I should have looked at the list. It's 100% on me. We are so lucky.
I'm
are
really
so
lucky to have
lucky.
him because I have never played with OBR. I've
Yeah.
only played against OBR a handful of times. So I'm not as familiar with this army as Sean would be. Sean has played OBR against me.
I've played.
That's the
I
first
have.
time
It
we actually
didn't. It
played.
didn't go well. It didn't go well for me, thanks to the menace that was Foxes a couple of years ago.
It turns
but
out 4 Foxes a couple years ago
Yeah.
was pretty good.
I'm like, I'll walk and I can't charge. I guess I'll score 2 points. And then I'll walk and I can't charge. Really fun game of Warhammer.
Yeah, very good Warhammer play there.
So at this point, it looks like how many Ungor are at the right? There's 5 still on there.
Yep.
So Gavin doesn't quite have the point yet, but
Gavin's
they
not-
pile in 6 though, so he can. If he want, he has to decide if he wants to pull in those enlightened or not.
I think he could avoid it because the Enlightened might be so far back that he's able to just pile in just
Maybe.
enough to have reach,
Yeah.
hit those Ungor Raiders, and
Yeah.
not be within 30.
Yeah, with a 1-inch reach, he probably can do that because he's.
He's so good at Warhammer.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting him to commit to both sides, so that's interesting. The horses on our left side of the screen, Gavin's right, are going to be outside of Catacross's bubble, so they're on a 4-up save, and they're going to hit on 3s instead of 2s, so they're a little bit more exposed. So if Nuge is forced to take top of 2, that's probably the side he kind of attacks, clears that, and sweeps in. But I'm really curious to see this prio.
He only has like the Doom Bull left, which is still off the table. That unit of 9 Bulgor. And another unit of Ungor Raiders. Still
Yeah.
the Horn to summon on other Ungors, but these
we-
Sangor Enlightened are 2 of his 3 heavy hitting units.
So those and the Bulgor. Is it 9 Bulgor?
9 Bulgor with paired axes.
Yeah. I can see where Gavin's Ossifector is. Foxes. It's got to be near the Immortus Guard.
It's still in the same spot it is.
Is it
It's
behind
in the
that building?
It's
That
in
little.
the terrain piece at the very top of the screen.
Yeah.
You see a little small shadow of a
Yeah.
circle. He's got his Ossifector hidden up there so that way nothing can see it from the table edge.
Yep, makes sense. It's outside of the wound pass, but he's pretty safe where he is right now. The Ossifector is cool because his artifact is +1 to wound bubble. It's only 9 inches, but those Immortus Guard wounding on 2s is just disgusting.
Command trait for the -3 to charge if you get 12.
-3 to charge within 12. The tower also has one of its 4-up abilities is -3 to charge as well. So if you're lucky enough to get that tower roll, making somebody -6 to their charge is pretty awesome, I have to say.
Looks like Gavin was
Here
able
we go.
to
Here's the pile in
clean
here.
up
Let's see if he can
that
avoid
whole
those.
unit of Ungor Raiders on the left-hand side.
And he's currently scoring that left one, but the Enlightened can pile onto it, so
I don't
he
see
won't
him
score
scoring
that
it.
one. So he's got to get the one on his left here if he wants to. And that's what he's measuring out now. Like you said, Emma, can he get in there without pulling in those Enlightened? Because there's 5 of them that could easily pile back onto the point and deny Gavin that scoring.
Absolutely.
Got our first 2 in the top 8.
Whoa, we
Whoa,
already
what
have
happened?
2
News from the
games
floor.
over? News from the floor. Mike Paginos.
Get in here, Mike.
All right.
Let us know.
Yeah, so this was kind of a unfortunate side for both these games. Again, what I thought was going to be some really great matchups. We had Leo into Chris Schelling.
Yep.
And
That was,
It was Giants versus Soulblight Nagash.
Soulblight
Yes.
Nagash, which we had a Soulblight Nagash on stream against Giants, which
Yeah.
went heavily in favor of one of these players.
and you're going to love it because it's going to be like a blast from the past. Leo did a total of 90 mortal wounds to Chris over the course of 2 turns from Magic Phase.
90
so that
mortal wounds.
that
That'll
was
do
over
it.
in
That-
20
That'll
seconds.
do it.
And then Dean Bill's try game, I thought that was going to be a back and forth. I was like,
That was
OBR and Seraphon.
not null myriad, which was the big thing that I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
he's gonna catch
Seraphon
effects
can do its
elite.
thing. Yep,
Yeah.
Seraphon can do its thing. Seraphon can't do its thing, however, if you are unaware of when you rupture your incarnate and it's within 3 inches of your own Bastiladon and 10 of your skinks.
Yeah, it's got to charge him.
Not in charge, you're already engaged.
Oh, he engaged.
And then
Just ruptured him into combat.
He's already there. This is Chai's second GT back from a long time. He's still trying to get caught up on things, and I'm like, just
a
to show
little
you-
rust.
little
Yeah.
mental fatigue, little rust.
So OBR came out on that one?
Yeah, OBR came out on that one with the win. So you've got Dean Bills and Leo, your first 2 in the top 8.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Death Army's up there. The only undefeated Soulblight player so far is
Yeah.
Legion of Night.
Legion of Night with Nagash.
Supreme,
Yeah.
showing why he's the
Yeah,
Supreme Lord of
yeah.
the Undead.
There's been a lot of chatter with OBR of do you take Null Myriad, do you not take Null Myriad? I mean, it's in some matchups it doesn't do anything, right? But if you pair into that Seraphon game or you pair into that Nagash game where he does all the mortals, like you need Null Myriad in my opinion. It just shores up one of the big weaknesses of the army, which is non-attack based mortals. It gives you that 2-up ward against it, and at that point the only thing you're afraid of is the Wargog Prophet. Everything else you get a 2-up spell ignore against. So.
If you're curious to see Leo in action, we already featured him on stream once yesterday into Sun's Bahamut. He was able, turn 1.
Is he the player that blew up his Vampire Lord? And
Yep.
yeah, I was watching that from the airport. That was wild.
He was able, turn 1, to teleport his Vampire Lord between Blizzard,
Yep.
a Wild Transference through a Spell Portal,
Yeah.
and a Spirit Gale, obviously with one
Yep.
mortal wound. Did 33 mortal wounds to a Gatebreaker on turn 1.
Yeah, it's a lot. That's why I just play Null Myriad and roll 2-ups.
Leo putting on a clinic.
And we got Gavin's pile-in move here. Like you said, I don't know if he's going to be able to keep those enlightened out based on that 3-inch.
Yeah, it's...
He's trying to see if he can, get, as you said, Emma, if he can get within 1 inch and not pull those guys in. But I think we're probably. Well, he may have done it. I'm not sure Gavin makes this move if he can't do it. Otherwise, he's taking free damage from the Enlightened. So the fact that he's making this move makes me think the players have agreed that he can pile in and keep those Enlightened out of combat.
Or potentially do it just to lock up the Enlightened so they can't charge you against somewhere else. But either way, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because it's not really any other
Yeah,
spots
and
you want to go.
them blocking commands. He just doesn't really want to
We go-
take extra combat phases against those guys.
Kevin really wants to do here is if he wins priority, he's got those. You can either give away
Yeah.
a turn because I don't think
Yeah.
Nuge can really accomplish anything.
Yeah.
But if Nuge wins priority, knowing he can't accomplish anything, probably going to give it to Gavin.
Yeah, almost exclusively the Beast player wants to go bottom of 2 because they want to see where to put their entire army. So I'm really curious to see what happens here with this prior roll.
I don't think Nuge really expected to be in this position where both of his Enlightened are already being
Yep.
dealt with.
Yep. I think you and I talked about it too. I think Gavin's pushed a little bit harder than I thought he was going to with the horses, but he does look like he's in a strong spot now.
And as you see, Gavin has such a big brain there. Like,
Massive brain.
massive. If anybody's just joining us, we have Gavin Geiger, 2-time IDC winner, top of your screen. I think OCR Code Reapers,
Yep.
the Nuge, all the way up from California. And that bottom of the screen, Beast of Chaos. Apparently, this is their 3rd meeting in round 5 with GT. Both of them are 4-0
They played
right
at
now.
Old Town, right? Or they just
Old
played
Town and
somewhere
San Diego Open
and
as
San
well.
Diego, yeah.
Looks like the end of our turn. Gavin did clean up 2 units of
He got his
Angor
5,
Raiders.
popped
Scored
the
his 5.
Raiders.
We are tied up.
Let's see it, gents.
Here we go. Priority
A
1
1.
for Gavin. Nuge
Not
wins it
a 1
with
for
5.
Nuge, so he's got to give the turn to Gavin here, I guess.
Oh, he's got it.
And Gavin probably just does trample and scores 5 more. Trample is such a strong tactic for OBR. He just has to charge with the Death Rider unit and have them still be engaged at the end of the turn. So don't kill what you charge, basically, and he'll get his 5 points. He could also do surround if he wanted to. I think he wants to keep those enlightened tagged. Intimidate's also an option, but I think he probably just does trample here.
I don't think Intimidate's going to come out into play because Gavin only has 7 units, and that territory extends all the way up to the middle.
Yeah, so only has the horses.
So
Archon,
it's only
Archon and both horses are out right now. So he'd have to get that red horse unit.
3 units out right now.
Oh, the hero. The hero. If that red horse unit pipped out, he could get it, but I think he probably wants to use them to space the middle of the board.
Yeah, he's got to still watch out for those bulls.
I think it's trample. The other thing about Gavin, apart from his incredible acumen on the table, he has remarkable penmanship. We can actually read his score sheet, which is something I appreciate as I'm walking around watching these games. So we're assuming that News gives Gavin the turn here, but I don't think they're still talking about it, it looks like.
Yeah, always a huge important factor whenever you win a priority. 2 things to think about. What can you actually accomplish if you take it?
Yep.
And also, what is your opponent going to accomplish? If your opponent can't accomplish anything,
Yeah.
just give it away.
Yeah, and and also what happens if I then get double turned back, right?
Absolutely.
That's what can really go sideways quickly if you decide to take that turn and you don't do enough and then you get doubled back and all of a sudden
Think
it's
of it as a
over.
flow sheet. First, can my opponent accomplish anything? If they can't accomplish anything, just give it away. Can you accomplish anything? If yes, what happens if you get
Yep.
double turned back?
Yeah.
Does that look bad?
Yeah.
Give it away right now.
Yep, and that's one of the things I love about AoS is that forward-thinking mentality, having to really think that far ahead. Because on the surface, going twice in a row seems really good, right?
Yeah,
but then
seems good.
your opponent could also do the same
Yeah.
thing. So you
More turns better, right?
More turns, but more turns more often. That's what they say.
Wise words from Sean Clark,
That's right.
Captain America.
All right,
here.
Emma. I'm gonna go take a look around the rest of the hall. I'm gonna verify that indeed Danush is going first. I'll let you know. So
Looks like he's still measuring out,
sharing
but-
the stage with me.
Always a pleasure. Sean Clark, Captain of Team America this year. So if anybody's just joining us, this is round 5. Oh, Noosh has decided, elected to take it this turn.
BOC tactic to kill a guy with a ritual.
Thank you. So Noosh electing to take the turn. He won priority. Took some time, think about it. Both players rolling for primal dice. Look like they're both getting one. So Noosh's battle tactic is going to kill a unit that he's targeted with the ritual. For anybody just joining us, this is round 5 coverage. Gavin, OBR, the Noosh, Beast of Chaos, top of turn 2. It's 5-5, right?
Yep, and Archon does indeed have soul release up, so he cannot deep strike near Archon.
Confirmation there. Archon the black. You see him on the top left of your screen. Does have soul release up, so you cannot set up any units anywhere within 12 of Archon. So completely safe from that Bulgor menace. Noosh has 9 Bulgor in reserve with Paradoxes. With his Bestial Cunning, he is able to set them up 7 inches away from Gavin. But Archon saying, no, 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 not right here. Curious to see what Noosh thinks he can do here. Most of his units are on the table. He still does have that 9 Bulgors with Paradoxes off the table. He does have the Doom Bolt off the table. There's 10 Ungor Raiders with bows. And additionally, he does have that Bray Wardhorn that he's able to bring on another 10. Other than that, most of his army already committed to the table.
Also for Nuge on the table, he does have a unit of 3 Zangor Fiendbloods that you see at the bottom of the screen. Towards the center of the board, next to that giant turning piece.
Has Matt done something stupid yet?
So, legendary Gareth Thomas, all the way up from California, inquiring if the Noosh has done something stupid. I think that happened when he got paired into Gavin. So, anybody's just joining us, we got round 5 coverage here. Both players 4-0. Their 3rd time meeting round 5 of a GT in this position. Except, unlike the other 2 GTs that they've met, this one still has more rounds to play. So the winner of this will automatically find themselves in that top 8 cutoff with 1 more game still to play today, 2 more tomorrow. Already have 2 players confirmed to be in the top 8. 2 very quick games that got resolved already today in round 5. We had Dean Bill's OBR taking it off of Seraphon, who unfortunately, a little bit of rust, ruptured a Kron spine too close to their own army. And then Leo Routinen ended up doing over 90 mortal wounds in 2 hero phases with Nagash into Chris Schelling's Mega Gargants. But still, quite a few games going on. Caleb Walters, the winner of Nova Open last year, facing off against Anthony Trentinelli's Flesh Eater Courts, which we had on stream last round. If you missed any games, you can find all of our prior games that we've streamed on this channel. We're covering 8 rounds of this GT. We also had 4 rounds on Thursday of invitational coverage, including a doubles game that we streamed on that round 1. Also facing off to try to get into that top 8, we got Jacob Brandon's Cruel Boys versus Scooter Walters, his Iron Jaws. Scooter is so ahead in points. It's a point differential system, and he's got so many points. He was first place going into this round that even with a loss, we predict that we'll see him in the top 8. So all Scooter has to do is basically not get completely tabled and shut out 0 to 20. But we're going to expect that Scooter's going to make it in. So we did elect to not cover him on stream just yet, because we do expect to be covering him in one of the next 3 rounds. Noah also on 4-0 with his Beast of Chaos. He's facing off against Ryan Byrne, otherwise known as Bread, in a tough crowd matchup. It's also a belt match. Noah took the tough crowd belt, the interdimensional champion of the AoS multiverse, off of Barton Kennelly last round. We have another belt match happening right now, round 5. The Owen Jackson facing off against Carl Long. Owen Jackson on stream yesterday with his Beast of Chaos. Carl Long playing Sylvaneth. I believe that rounds out all of our undefeated players, but still so many games of Warhammer going on. We've got 75 games going on, so currently 150 players playing out this round. After this round, we will have an hour break. They'll finalize the top 8 cut. We do expect that there be some drops from some players who might be a little Warhammered out after 5 rounds. I don't know why you'd be Warhammered out. More Warhammer, more often. Everybody's got the ability here, or the chance, to play 8 rounds. So there's going to be 8-player pods set up after round 5. And we're going to have round 6 today, and then round 7 and 8 are going to happen tomorrow. And for our round 6, 7, 8 coverage on the stream, we're solely going to be looking in that top 8 cut, bringing you undefeated matchups all the way up to the final tomorrow. Currently 75 players playing, 2 players confirmed already for our top 8. Dean Bills with OCR Bone Reapers, a Petrifex Elite, electing not to go Null Myriad. We'll see how that shakes out. Could be a little bit more favorable into other OBRs, having that -1 to be wounded. But Leo Routinen, our other 5-0 with Soulblight Gravelords, we're in Legion of Night with Nagash himself. So, Nuge still planning out his turn. He's got a lot to do here. Nuge won priority and took it top of 2. So anytime you win priority and you take top of turn, you've got to make it happen. Got to accomplish something. So it looks like he's running his Angler Fiendbloods up. They get 3 models on the objective. There's currently only 2 Death Riders on there. See if Gavin wants to redeploy. He is redeploying those Death Riders. Cock die on the table. Gavin seeing if he's able to get that 3rd Death Rider on. Gavin currently owns the middle objective. Looks like he did not roll high enough to get onto it with the 3rd model. Looks like he might have just rolled a 1 there. We've got Chris Schelling joining us, one of our Harambe heroes. He went into this round 4-0 with his Sons of Bahamut, looking to avenge one of his fallen Sons players from yesterday into Leo Routinen. Did you just get touched bad by Nagash?
Yeah, to the tune of 90 mortal wounds in 2 turns. It was pretty brutal.
So, at which point were you in the find out phase?
Well, when he took the top of turn 1 and he just killed Broad right off the bat, I was like, this is pretty bad.
He killed Broad top of 1.
Yes. He cast Final Transference and he got it empowered. He did the average 20 mortal wounds to him, and then he cast no primal dice. No primal dice.
No primal dice on top of all of this.
He teleports, casts Blizzard. He has Morbeg's Claw, and there was Arcane Terrain in the middle of the table, so he needed a 9. He got it, and he did 20-something mortal wounds to Broad. I didn't count after 20, but
he's so good at Warhammer, isn't he?
And then, so I took the turn, scored by 5. I took bottom, scored by 5. He wins the roll off, and he took it. And then every spell he cast in turn was empowered, which means he got the empowered transference off. He did about the average again, 20 mortal wounds to my general, and then got the Blizzard off. And finished general, and that's what we called it.
Oof. Absolutely nice. But you're still on 4-1.
Yeah.
Could do you think you might be able to sneak in that top 8, or are you looking
I don't know.
at maybe sneaking in the next spot?
I had a real close game with Owen last round, so might not have enough points to sneak in. But I prefer to just not do the math and just wait and see.
Are you here to now watch Gavin?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you where's the Bulgors? I didn't see the Bulgors yet.
Bulgors have not been committed yet. So essentially, what happened is Gavin forced the Nuge to take top of 1. Nuge ended up putting 10 Ungor Raiders on each of the side objectives.
Yeah.
Trying to put 6 Angor Enlightened behind them. And that was really it for turn 1. Very uneventful. Gavin yeeted out 2 Death Rider units, picked up both of those Ungor Raider units. The unit on your right-hand side was able to impact hit and then pile in, and only attack the Ungor Raiders while keeping those Zangor Enlightened out of combat. So those Angor are free from combat. The ones on the other side were in combat, picked up 2 Death Riders, but also picked up 2 Enlightened. Gavin scored 5 points. They're both tied up 5-5 here. You see Archon the Black all the way to the top left. You think, oh, it's pretty helpless. Oh no, I'm so weak. He did get the spell up, so you can't have anything set up anywhere within 12 of him. So Archon completely unkillable right now. However, Nuge saw an opportunity here. Those Death Riders, there's 3 Death Riders all the way on the left-hand side of your screen. He did use the Beast of Chaos battle tactic to
target that unit with a ritual and kill it this turn. So he's hoping to pick up those last 3 Death Riders. We're seeing some more Ungor Raiders pop up on screen here on the bottom right. The Bulgors not yet committed, still 9 Bulgors and a Doom Bull off the table. And I believe one more unit of Gors somewhere because he still has that Brave Blast trumpet.
So, Nuge isn't playing Velcor in this list, or?
This is a no Bellicor version. It's got 9 Bulgor, 2 units of 6 Enlightened on foot. And
Yeah, I know he likes
Sangor
those Enlightened.
Fiendbloods.
Yeah.
I've played against Sangor Enlightened. They're so actually good.
Yeah.
They shut off commands if you're in combat. On round 2, which we are in, they're going to get an extra rend, so they got rend 2 on the weapons, damage 2.
Yeah, just the value you get for their points is just crazy.
They're 100 points per 3. He's running with 6-man units, so it's only 360 points in each of those units. Looks like another unit of Ungor Raiders popping up to the edge. Looks like he wants to potentially shoot into those Death Riders in the center. They're going to be on like 2-up saves.
This is
Might
turn
take a 1.
turn 1.
This is top of 2 here.
Top of 2.
They're tied up 5-5. Lose 1 priority, decide to take top of turn, which means Gavin is going next.
And that a little
potentially can
surprising that he decided to take the turn. Usually with Beast of Chaos, you're really playing for that 2 into 3 double.
big surprise here, but that's why he's 4-0 with Beast of Chaos. I've never gone 4-0 with Beast of Chaos. I also haven't played Beast of Chaos. Have you played Beast of Chaos before?
Just in an RTT, they were fun.
So then you've never gone 4-0 with
No,
Beast of
I
Chaos?
went 2-1.
We're going to look like a bunch of fools here. The Nuge. This is his army. This is his
I mean, I just played against Owen, but he lost. Maybe he was bad. I don't know. So the Bulgors do have to come down because Beast of Chaos can't hold things back past turn 2.
True. Not a lot of great spots for them to come down. They're just Death Riders screening out so much of
Is
this
there
field.
anything to the right of Catacross up there, though?
There is not. But Catacross still sitting on a 2-up. He's got the paired access, so he is up at the Ren 2.
Does Gavin have the
might have
4-up?
Finest Hour.
Does Gavin have the 4-up Mortal Wound Ward spell active? That would be huge.
I'm going to assume so because it's Gavin, and
Yes.
he has the biggest of brains. You don't have player audio, like, don't have that confirmed.
So knowing the way Gavin plays, leaving Catacross with an open flank like that, that's bait.
But I'm
Gavin
not
loves
gonna,
to set a trap like that.
Yeah, I'm not going to check with him just yet because I don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to influence. You don't want to influence the game. Yeah.
After everything's down, I might go pop by.
But considering there is a marker under Catacross there, that Gavin likes to write those dry erase markers, that's going to be either Finest Tower or the ward save.
That is just a marker that Catacross's command ability is up for the +1 to hit and save.
Okay, so Gavin's usually pretty good about writing reminder markers on his stuff, so I will assume he doesn't have the 4-up. But I do think that's bait.
It's kind of a weird position for him to bring in those Ungors all the way in the top right.
Yeah. So his tactic is ritual, right? So you think he just want to put as many shots as he could into the ritual target.
And you pick the ritual target being those 3 Death Riders all the way on the left-hand side of your screen. So it's a bit strange. He's putting things on the right side of our screen, even though his battle tactic is to kill the thing on the left hand. He's just joining us. We're currently in top of 2 of this game. This is round 5, AoS Open GT. Both players 4-0. Gavin's Osiark Goalkeeper versus Matt the Nuge running Beast of Chaos. The Nuge, 1 priority on turn 2 and elected to take it. top 8 cut after this round, so both players playing for the win. Whoever wins this will make that top 8 cut. There's going to be probably about 3 players on 4-1 that make the top 8 cut. So everybody's looking to keep their points close, even on a loss, to try to squeak in there. Looks like he might be trying to commit the Bulgor here. There's not really anywhere else to put it, and he has to kill these threats battle tactics.
I think what's putting down now is I saw him roll a dice. It's probably the Brave Blast Trumpet summon. The artifact gives you a free summon. So
it is a 9-inch stick he's using as well. I still don't think this is enough damage. The Enlightened are in combat with the Death Riders, so they can't use any command abilities. So even in the shooting phase here, no 5-up boards, no buff fences. It does look like they're well outside of that wholly within 24 categories for the extra save.
So on the right side there, next to those 5 Death Riders, what's in front of those? Is that Zangars? Enlightened? Yeah.
That is a unit of 6 Zangor Enlightened on foot. Nuge was trying to keep a bunch of Ungor Raiders in front of him, so if the Ungor Raiders got charged, he would pull in the Enlightened. Kind of mismeasured, left the spot there where the Death Riders were able to charge in there, not pulling the Enlightened, and then the Death Riders do have a 6-inch pile in when they charge, so he was able to just pile in, just get within an inch of the remaining Ungors, and kill them off.
The Bulgors are coming in behind the Ungor Raiders? They deploy 7, don't they? I think Gavin has successfully just Jedi mind tricked Nuge, perhaps. This is all very confusing.
I am so confused. Misa Chaos are so confusing that even us are confused.
Yes, I believe Gavin has borrowed some models from a couple different people for his army.
You think he's color coordinating that until his units apart?
Just give the people what they want. Cruel Boys in the top 8.
It's right.
We got Cruel Boys in the top 8. Jacob Brandon comes through against Scooter.
Jacob Brandon, Cruel Boys defeating the Scooter, Iron Jaws. Jacob Brandon 5-0 with Cruel Boys. They said it couldn't be done. Jacob Brandon said, "Hold my mortal wounds."
Yeah, when I walked by their table earlier, I saw Scooter pushing all his pigs down into the Cruel Boys army, but often that's what Cruel Boys want you to do because they can't move and shoot very well.
I heard top of one that the Cruel Boys shot off 7 of the 10 brutes in the one unit.
Top of one?
On top of one, they killed 7 brutes. Is what I heard. I could have misheard. Maybe it might have been bottom one. I just know turn 1, 7 brutes were shot off the table by a bunch of sneaky Cruel Boys.
I could buy that. Top of one is a little difficult considering the range of their shooting.
You could have super sneaky them to play a
that's
little
just
closer,
true.
poison them up. Alright, here we are shooting. A very odd choice. He's putting his Bulgor all the way in the back on the table edge. Not quite sure what his plan is. He might just be really scared of the double turn back from Gavin at this point.
But then why did he take the top of the turn?
Strange things are afoot here.
If you're gonna take the top of the turn, you gotta be prepared to take a bunch of table space.
And now those Bulgor are so far back that even on Nuge's next turn, are they even able to reach the center objective if it needs them there?
Yeah. When you're playing against an army like Gavin's, like he doesn't have a lot of models, a lot of units. You really need to keep him from taking up as much table space as he is.
Here he is, charging in those Zangor Lightnings on your right side. It looks like he will be taking potentially all 3 of these objectives. Nuge already controls the one all the way on the left. The center and the right-hand objective were controlled by Gavin at the end of last turn. So Nuge moving up those Angler Steam loads up the center to take the center one. Pretty strange to have those bulwarks so far back. Maybe he's a little concerned about the Archon. Archon does move like 16 inches.
Yeah.
Not the greatest in melee, but
He's
still better than nothing.
He's not too shabby. Annoyingly hard to kill in melee due to the hunger.
We'd love to hear from Nuge after this game. This his thought process on the board all the way on the board edge, bottom of the screen.
I assume this is some shooting from the.
No, he's already charged, so this is likely the Zangor Enlightened on the right-hand side going into the Death Riders. Unless he forgot some shooting and Gavin's letting him go back. I also don't see the Doom on the table. It looks like it's still off the table.
Maybe it's in. How many Bulgors do you count down there? Could be just in there with them. Oh, this looks like a Doom Bowl off the table. Well, you know, it's been a long week. It's been a long weekend, and there's still 3 more games after this one.
Do we think he could still be jet lagged?
It's possible. I don't know what those Californians. They like to go out. I don't know what they were doing last night.
I believe he might have been doing some karaoke. If you just joined us, we have Gavin Greger atop your screen, OCR Growmakers versus the Nuge, Beast of Chaos, all the way out from California, in a California versus Texas Rumble here, round 5, Nova Open GT. Both players 4-0, winner advancing to the top 8 cut. And we're going to have 3 more rounds of Warhammer for both players no matter what. More Warhammer, more often.
All right. Well, I think I'll let you take over. And
Thank you so much for
go
joining
get a drink.
us. Hope you recover from your 90 mortal wounds.
Yep, I got some drink tickets. That'll help.
That was Chris Schelling, member of the Harambe Heroes, good friend of Gavin's, all the way up from Texas. He was 4-0 with Sons of Behemoth before he ran into the Leo, the dump truck, who dropped 90 mortal wounds over the course of 2 hero phases on him, killing King Broad top of turn 1 with an empowered Drain Vitality and the filthiest of snowballs from Merciless Blizzard. Bit of combat here, just Zangor Enlightened, fighting Cavalos Death Riders. Oh, there we have it. 3 Enlightened, barely enough to pick up the last Death Riders on the left. That was Nuge's battle tactic. Pretty huge for him. If he was unable to kill those, it would have failed the battle tactic. But was able to squeak through enough damage to pick them up. Gavin only had 7 units in his entire list, so he's essentially down to 6 units left, but a very elite army, able to bring back slain models, but not slain units. So Nuge hoping here that the turn 2 Herdstone, increasing the rend of all of these Enlightened, is enough to crack these Death Riders and remove some of them from the table here. You cannot use command abilities if you're engaged with the Enlightened. Couple announcements by James O'Brien. James O'Brien, head judge here at Nova Open. Just make some announcements. After round 5 here, we will likely have a few drops. Anybody who is not dropped after round 5 will be put into 8-player pods to play out the last 3 rounds of this GT. So they're playing folks with similar results for the rest of the weekend here. Each pod will have their own champion. So it doesn't matter if you're 5-0 or you're 0-5, will be put into your own individual pod, and you can potentially win an award for finishing best in your pod. So here we are, scoring it up. The Nuge able to complete his battle tactic, scoring 5 points. And we're going to go bottom of 2 here into Gavin OCR Bone Reapers, bottom of 2. Both players maxing out their points, 5 points each turn. So far, we've had 2 units of 10 Ungor Raiders slain. Just a couple Zangor Enlightened, but no full units. We had 3 Zangor Enlightened on the left-hand side and just 1 Zangor Enlightened on the right-hand side slain. Gavin did have 1 unit of Death Riders slain that turn. I believe we're about halfway through this round. It's 2:30 Eastern here. Still have a full hour and a half left in this round. More, I believe. About an hour and a half left in this round. Then there's going to be an hour break, and we will be back here after round 5 for round 6 coverage. We ain't done today. We still have hours of Warhammer left. There it is, official announcement. Hour and a half left in the round. So, bit of a slow start to this game. Not a whole lot happening. But now that the entire Beast of Chaos army has been committed to the table, we'll start seeing the OCR Bone Reapers start slowly slogging their way up the table as there's no deep strikes left there. No threats from those 9 Bulgors popping in and saying, "Welcome to Cowtown." We're about to see Gavin bully back and do what Gavin does, stand on objectives and score points. Gavin's battle tactic, led into the Maelstrom. So he's going to need to charge 1 hero and 1 battle line unit, and at the end of the turn, still have 1 of them engaged in combat. Here you go, Catacross already returning 1 Cavallos Death Rider to that unit you see all the way on the right-hand side. Gareth Thomas, one of our TOs here, World's Judge himself, makes sure everything here is being played above board, has been an expert in dodging me for an interview all week, but we'll get him at some point. Can't hide forever. And here he is. He can't hide. Been trying to get him all week to get some words in from Gareth. I think I might have just seen him smile. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think so far? How's your experience been here?
Experience has been great. I love this event. Yeah, it's great. Good.
Man of many words. What
I
do you
am.
think of this game?
This game's good. This is a rematch of the Old Town final from a few weeks ago. That the final Old Town was over very quickly because Gavin baited Matt into charging when he shouldn't have done, and Matt fell for it last time. Gavin did exactly the same thing this game, and Matt did not fall for it. So Matt's still in the game, which is good. I was worried that he would just put the Bulgors down and charge Catacross or Arcan and then lose the game, but he didn't. So
You couldn't even charge Archon. Archon had that you can't set up within 12.
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a like Gavin did not screen Catacross from the Bulgors.
Oh no, he's not at all.
Deliberately though. He is absolutely fine with the Bulgors going into Catacross. There's no guarantee that Catacross dies, and even if he does die, the Bulgors are then on the field and pretty much out of position, and the rest of his army just takes the board and wins.
There's that 6 Immortus card right there to
Yeah.
countercharge.
And enough
Matt
distance
did-
away that it's,
Matt did choose to take top of 2 after all, knowing that Gavin will counter whatever he does.
yeah. But where he's placed his Bulgors, what's Gavin going to counter?
Where he's placed his Bulgors, what's Nuge gonna counter at?
That's true. I mean, yeah. He does have the double charge ability. Or
He
the,
does. He could do the run, charge, or charging opponents.
yeah.
Any surprises so far? Looks like Caleb Walters did take the win over Anthony Trentinelli, so we do have Caleb with Zeech, Dean Bills, Oster Crow Reaper, Jake Brandon Crow Boys, Leo Rautanen, Legion of Night. All confirmed 5-0 so far.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of very quick games. The Dean versus Chai game was over extremely quickly because Chai didn't realise what a wild incarnate does and made his own incarnate wild in his own army, which was not good. The Leo did 90 mortal wounds in the first 2 turns.
We had Chris Schelling here not too long ago.
Okay, yeah.
Recounting, seeing his life flash before his eyes. King Rod died top of 1.
We do have Cruel Boys as a 5-0. Jacob beat Scooter, which is pretty impressive.
Scooter might have enough points to be one of those 4-1s to
Yeah,
make it top 8.
it's gonna
He
be
was
tight.
so far in the lead after 4 rounds
Yeah.
that even with 5 points on this differential, he could squeak in there.
I was hoping that the Owen or Carl would get the other one. They went at it, and I think by the end of turn 1, they both had lost over half of their army. So I thought this game's going to be over very quickly, and they'll get some high scores. So one of them will make it into the top bracket, but they just after that nothing much has happened. So it's going to go those.
It was Beast of Chaos versus Sylvaneth, 2 very kind of deceptive, teleporting around.
Exactly.
KG armies
Yeah.
of trickery.
And Carl's still got Gotrek, but it's at the back of the board, so Gotrek's pretty much out of the game.
Yeah, maybe by next year he might be on an objective.
Exactly.
He starts running them now.
Yeah.
If you feel like you're missing this one out, you're envious the games you see on stream, Nova Open every year, right here in DC.
Yep.
Put on your calendar right now. Any other events coming up for you?
Always.
Wait,
Always.
He rolls his eyes at me. Always events.
I mean, doing all of the GW Opens and the GW Grand Final. I'll be head ref for all of those. Then we've got Old Town Throwdown Teams in November, which I'm very much looking forward to. And then I'll be head refing LVO again. So over the next 6 months, I've probably got 6 GTs I'll be running.
Are you playing in any?
No.
That's the life. This man is going to go to 6 GTs and not lose a single game.
It's true. But being on the top table at all of them.
You heard it right here.
The other interesting game we've got going on is Noah versus Bread. And Bread's doing well. I mean, he's probably going to take that.
Really?
Yeah.
Brad was super nervous. I
Yeah.
asked him if he wanted to be on the stream. He's super nervous about the belt. He wants the belt. He's
Yeah.
already. He said to me that every time he plays, he always feels like it's a 2-on-1 already.
And of course, if he does win that knocks out one of the undefeated, so we'll get an extra one-lost player in the final 8.
Huge.
or the
Noah
top
is
8.
on 4-0
Yeah.
and is paired down into Brad. Brad said, "Yo, I really want that belt. I don't know what he made to make that happen, but we have the belt match. Brett Slanesh versus Noah's Beastican.
Yeah, Noah failed 3 5-inch charges with the Bulldog.
That doesn't sound very good.
And that left him really out in the open, so yeah, we'll see.
Brett is so good in the charge phase. Brett making sure that he's nice and soft and fluffy and not toast.
Alright, I better head back out there, make sure no one's
Yeah,
cheating.
what are you doing over here? You got work to do.
I
You got to
do.
make sure these tables are going. Make sure all the rules are above board. Thank you so much. That was Garrett Thomas from the West Coast, the Welsh Warrior.
I would love to get Brett on stream, but always being respectful to our players. He's a man of mystery. Like, if you get Brett on stream, you kind of ruin some of the mystique about him. Who is Brett? What is Brett? Who knows? So, still in Gavin's hero phase, very kind of long game, a lot being planned here. I'm gonna check in, see what kind of spells been cast, and see exactly what's going on. Looks like he's retreating the Death Riders. So Gavin's battle tactic. This is bottom of 2. Gavin's battle tactic is led into the Maelstrom. You need to charge a hero unit and a battle line unit. And at the end of the turn, one of them still does need to be in combat. In combat being within 3 inches of an enemy unit. So, Gavin repositioning those Cavalos Death Riders off of the center, looking to charge down what remains, those 5 Zangor Enlightens. He still has Catacross up there at the top of the table. He still has his general, who's been tucked in a little nook and cranny on that terrain piece at the top of the table. He's been hiding there. Gavin very wisely used that terrain to his advantage to prevent any line of sight from the table edges, because that little general up there is his grand strat. His grand strat, spellcasting savant, keep his general alive. Also, OCR Bone Reapers, they love using command abilities. There's like 10 command abilities that they can choose from. They've got like a whole smorgasbord of commands. In this matchup, though, those Zangor Enlightened, if you're in combat with them, you can't issue or receive commands. So, Gavin having to play around with that. You can see the redeploy coming off the Enlightened right here. Gavin had retreated out this unit of Cavalos Death Riders, tried to position them a little bit around to prevent too much of redeploy. Looks like he's going to try to charge Catacross into that unit of Ungors all the way to the top right.
Hey, to Sigma players, just a reminder, if you are dropping after 5 rounds, come to the TO desk to let us know and vote for your favourite payments. Thank you.
Another announcement by legendary James O'Brien. So, this is round 5. They are opening up, the possibility for players to drop if they want. After round 5, they will be seeding everybody into 8-player pods to play only other players within their pod for the rest of the event for round 6, 7, 8. The top player from each pod will be eligible to win an award for the best of their pod. So lots of incentive to keep playing. Even if you're 0-5, you can still be a winner. Welcome back, Ramon. The score currently, both players have been scoring the max 5 points a turn. We're still in bottom of 2. So the score after 1 was tied up 5-5. Nuge won priority, took top of 2, scored 5 points. We're now into the bottom of 2. Gavin's turn. So while the score is technically 5-10, Gavin still has to score this turn. His battle tactic led in the Maelstrom. Needs to charge a battle line unit and a hero, and still have one in combat at the end. He's positioned the Cavalos Death Riders on the right to charge into the Zangor Enlightened. He's got Catacross at the top right, looking to charge into some Ungor Raiders. He's using Archon the Black to charge into those 3 Zangor Enlightened on the left. And we'll see where he positions his Immortus Guard after this. Again, Nuge did win priority and took top of 1, which means Gavin here does have a chance for a double turn. But Gavin, huge big brain player, most likely positioning himself to potentially even give away top of 3 to the Nuge if he wants to. Since Nuge already took top of 2, his entire army has been committed to the table here. He's already committed the 9 Bulgor to the bottom left. Instead of doing that 7-inch charge out of the Bestial Cunning, he elected to just put him all the way back there, nice, safe, and sound, knowing that he's going to need these 9 Bulgor alive for later in the game, potentially when we get to turn 4, and their rend is improved by 2 from the Herdstone. Apparently, these two met up round 5 of the Old Town Throwdown GT a couple weeks ago. It was a very similar match, OBR versus Beast of Chaos then, with both players on 4-0. And Gavin did a similar position turn 1, baited Nuge into dropping the Bulgors and forcing them to make a charge. And it went very badly for Nuge in that game. So Nuge, very cautious, doesn't want to take that bait. Drop the Bulgor down, nice and safe behind some Ungor Raiders. Catacross was at the top right, was open to potentially being charged, but Catacross already sitting there on a 2-up save. Bulgors are armed with paired weapons, so only on Ren 2 right now, he would be able to awe out the fence. And with 20 wounds, not a guaranteed kill. See the Cavalos Death Riders charging on the bottom right, tagging both the Enlightened and the Ungor Raiders, putting his Mortal Wound impact hits into the Enlightened. Already picking up 1. Here comes that second unit of Death Riders charging in. We're going to see some more impact hits here. Gavin positioning them so that way those Enlightened can't put all of their attacks into a single unit. He's charged Archon the Black into the 3 Enlightened on the left-hand side. Really wants to swing up Archon the Black first. Get rid of those Enlightened before having to swing with the Death Riders. So that's why all of those Death Riders on the right-hand side are not sucked in the base to base. They do have 6-inch pylon when they charge. So Gavin just really wants to minimize any damage output that those Enlightened can do into him, so that way he's free to swing with Archon the Black over there first and try to scoop up those Enlightened. If you're just joining us, super close game. Looks like Gavin will score his battle tactic because he did charge a hero and a battle line unit. And no matter what, at the end of this turn, we'll be able to have one of those units within 3 using those Death Riders at the bottom right of your screen to be able to tag in to combat with multiple units, to mostly Ungor Raiders who don't do anything in melee. It looks like he's electing to fight first with the Death Riders on the right side. Going into the 3 Zangor Enlightened Ermain. You see the massive brain of Gavin on your screen. We tried measuring it before, but we did not have a tape measure long enough to measure the size of his cranium. You just joined us. This is round 5. Both these players 4-0. Gavin Osiark Bone Reaper, Matt the Nooge, Beast of Chaos. Winner of this guarantees their spot in the top 8 cut. Still 1 more game to stream here today, 2 more tomorrow. Already a couple players locked themselves into the top 8, including last year's winner, Caleb Walters with Zinch. Jacob Brandon doing it with a 5-0 Cruel Boys run. Leo Routinen, we had him on stream yesterday, running Legion of Night with Nagash. Also, Dean Bills, amazing player, used to run a lot of Kotal's Claw Seraphon in the old book. Currently running Osiark Bone Reapers, but Petrifex Elite he has chosen. He made quick work of his opponent and secured his spot. Scooter did lose to Jacob Brandon's Cruel Boys, but Scooter had so many points. It's a point differential system here, and he had so many points. We're going to have at least probably 3 players that are going to be on 4-1 and make that top 8 cut. And the thinking here is that Scooter probably still has secured his place in a top 8, even on a 4-1. So he's not out of it yet. Have seen this Mortis Guard charge right up the middle. That is a unit of 3 Zangor Fiendbloods there. Oh. Six in Mortis Guard. They are chained back a little bit. That is the Osiark Ossifector that he has within an inch there. You see at the center objective. That's tiny little model next to it. That is Gavin's General. It does have an aura of giving +1 to wound rolls. So right now those Mortis Guard hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s. Nooge not even rolling saves, just picking up his models. Don't even think they have saves. The Zangor Fiendbloods, I believe, are 5-up saves, 3 wounds each. And the Mortis Guard do have Rend 2 damage. We do have a chance for a repeat Walter Brothers finale. We could even see them pair up before then. We'll keep an eye on the pairings. Exclusively bringing you top 8 coverage then. It's just been winners all day on stream here. Our last round we had Anthony Trentinelli's Flesh Eater Courts on stream. Anthony just lost to Caleb Walters though. But it was close. It was a 13-7 differential in that game. So it looks like we've had all of the Zangor Enlightened and the Slangor Fiendbloods picked up. I think the only thing left with teeth here is those 9 Bulgor all the way in the bottom left here. The Bulgor are armed with the Paradoxes. The Bulgors, I believe, do have the ability to run and charge from the Dune Bowl, and also can charge in, I think, the opponent's charge phase. So there's a chance the Bulgor do stampede their way up the table. but they do seem very, very far out of place. Again, Nuge won the priority on 2 and gave Gavin this bottom of 2 position. So this entire board state was the Beast of Chaos player's choice. So Gavin now rolling out the attacks for the Cavalos Death Riders on the bottom right. Problem is, if he wipes that unit down there, he could fail his battle tactic. Going to take a quick peek at the board in person, see if there's any other models down there I'm missing, and see exactly what is left from those units. And I'll be back in just a minute. Alright, so Gavin was able to complete his battle tactic. There are 2 Zangor Enlightened still in combat with Archon. So we're tied up here, 10-10 after 2. Gavin rolled priority first, hit a 6. The Nuge needing a 6 to win ties. Did not do it. So Gavin does have the choice of who goes first, who goes second. He's going to take a look at the board state, do some measurements. I don't see Gavin taking this, but we'll see. Those Bulgor are so far back. The only threat is that they can pick up Archon. But does Archon matter that much with what's left on the table? That's the key question. So, Gavin thinks those Bulgor might not be in a position that he wants them to be, so Gavin is electing to take it. We do have an Osiarch Bone Reaper double turn here, which could be really good though, because he is spread out quite a bit. He does have all of those Death Riders in the bottom right of the screen. Catacross is all the way out there in the middle of nowhere. I think Catacross is so far out there, he's already making his way to the next tournament. Gavin is a big name around here in the US, always popping up at events. He might have already sent Catacross out to scout out the next event. Maybe even send him on to round 6 already. But what we'll probably see is Gavin kind of reform the castle, see if, does he even care about those Ungor at the top there? Probably, because that's part of the Nuge's grand strat to control 2 objectives of Bayherd at the end of the game. But we'll probably see him try to reform this castle. The key thing is, what does he do with Archon the Black here? Nuge is fully committed all of his units to the board right now. Gavin reaching deep into his big brain cranium, assessing the board. Gavin, a master at standing on circles and scoring points. He's got the Mortis Guard on the center objective. He is running Null Myriad and his generals over there, so he will be able to just 2-up ignore any spells potentially that Noosh throws into him. Noosh does have 2 units with Blizzard, so he could try to position himself up, win a priority for next round, double turn in with a snowball, but Gavin will be ready with his 2-up spell ignore. He's also got his Death Riders on the right-hand side. Probably looking to mop up the rest over there. He'll sit on hold 1, hold 2. Plenty of battle tactics available here. Gavin's got access to the surrounds because he's got Archon on one side. He can end up wholly within 6 of table edge. He's already got Death Riders on one side. Catacross is up there at the top of the board. He also is saving Intimidate the Invaders, which is to have more outside your territory, which he's already got that locked down with 1, 2, 3, 4 of his 6 remaining units outside of his territory right now. So a lot of options for Gavin. He's probably going to save Intimidate for later because it's such an easy battle tactic for him, especially on the way the territories are set up on this mission. He's going to want to reserve those battle tactics for that turn 4, turn 5. He is looking to do surround, so it is the battle tactic. There's a couple units he could do it with. So we could do it with Archon, who's all the way on the left-hand side, get that one. He does have Catacross up at the top, and both these Death Riders could find themselves eligible because he could use one to get the bottom table edge. He could use them to get the right table edge. So multiple units eligible for this. Either way, no matter what Gavin chooses, he's going to score 5 points this turn. The Master of Standing on Things, scoring points, showing why he is 2-time ITC champ. So if you're just joining us, Gavin has 1 priority with a 6 going into turn 3 here. Scores tied up 10-10. Gavin's playing Ossiarch Bone Reapers, has only lost 1 unit of 5 Cavalos Death Riders. Everything else for him is on the table. His opponent, the Noosh, running Beast of Chaos, has already lost 3 units of Ungor Raiders, 2 units of 6 Zangor Enlightened on foot, 1 unit of 3 Zangor Fiend Bloods, and has already committed the rest of his army to the table. So there's 9 Bulgor at the bottom of the screen with Doombull, 10 Ungor Raiders, his Zangor Shaman, and it might be the Bray Shaman at the bottom right. I'll get some eyes on that, but I'm pretty sure that that is the Bray Shaman, which if Gavin can just pick that up, huge, because that Bray Shaman does have the Merciless Blizzard. And that is his Bray Shaman, all the way out there on the bottom right, armed with the Merciless Blizzard, the Dirty Snowball. We have an update from the belt match. Bread has not won the belt. Noah retaining the belt after his first challenge. Noah, the newly crowned interdimensional champion of the AoS multiverse, after defeating Barton Kennelly in the prior round and taking the Tough Crowd belt. Still quite a lot of Warhammer happening right now around the hall. And there's 75 games going on this round. 150 players playing right now. A lot of them already wrapped up their games. There is a full hour left in this round, after which we'll have an hour break before beginning round 6. I am interested in talking with the Nuge after the game. Would love to get some insight on his choice to take top of 2 there. I feel like he did not accomplish a whole lot top of 2. What happened was he went for Ritual, picked up a unit of Death Riders all the way on the left of your screen, but then had to commit the rest of his army out of reserve. And what happened then was Gavin was able to quickly respond and pick up all of the Zangor Enlightened, the Zangor Fiendbloods, and now has complete control of all 3 objectives. And then Gavin, after picking up all of that, rolled a 6 for priority and chose to take an OBR double turn here. And all of that boiled down to the Nuge winning priority on 2 and deciding to take top of 2 with Beast of Chaos instead of giving it away to Gavin. So we're tied up here 10-10. Gavin won priority and is double turning into Beast of Chaos. He has selected the battle tactic Surround, so he's going to have 3 units, whole units and 6 at the table edges, 3 different table edges. And we're definitely going to see 5 points put on the board here for Gavin. The only question is, what can the Nuge score bottom of 3? Gavin owns all 3 of these objectives. Essentially what you have here on the table is 1 Bray Shaman all the way on the right side of your screen. Other than that, there's the 9 Bulgor, a couple Ungor Raiders, the Zangor Shaman, and the Doom Bull all on that bottom left-hand side.
1 hour.
There is that unit of Ungor Raiders all the way to the top right of your screen, but I do suspect that either Catacross or a unit of Death Riders is going to charge to clean that up, at which point Nuge is pretty contained to that corner. He definitely won't have anything that can reach out to claim that center objective, especially off of all those Immortus Guard. Archon the Black is there. We'll see if he decides to just toe that objective on the left-hand side to force Nuge to overcommit to be able to try to capture it. He'll need 6 bodies, as Archon is a monster. And then he still has those 2 units of Death Riders on the bottom. Probably will go for killing the Bray Shaman, as it does have Merciless Blizzard, and those Death Riders are outside of range of that hero to receive the 2-up Spell Ignore from being Null Myriad. That is the Death Shrieker coming out from his Asa Vector. That little wizard up by the middle objective, getting bodyguarded by those Immortus Guard, saying, "Get down, Mr. President." So, based off the board state, not looking good for Beast of Chaos. But this is the 3rd time that these 2 players have found themselves at 4-0 and met up round 5 of a GT. Gavin has taken the win in both those prior times, which means Nuge is due for one at some point. 3rd time the charm, maybe? He's been in this position plenty of times, it seems. So he's got to know what he needs to do to claw himself out by now. Looks like Archon the Black moving up, potentially going to go in there, make a charge. I'm wondering if he's able to end a charge within 3 of that Herdstone. If so, absolutely massive. But what I think he's trying to do is position that Shrieker so that way his opponent cannot Inspiring Presence those Bulgor and potentially pick up some Bulgor. Archon the Black, mostly 1-inch reach on a lot of his weapons. Only has one weapon that has a 2-inch reach. So, not sure if he'll be able to swing in and get much damage on those Bulgor in the back. Archon, not that known for his melee prowess. But you never know. I mean, all of his melee profiles do hit on 4s. But his mount could potentially get in there and do some damage. Archon the Black, the Mortarch of Sacrament, riding upon his Dread Abyssal, Razarak. That mount has 6 attacks, 4s and 3s, Ren 2 damage. Not the most intimidating of things. Nuge quickly with a redeploy to screen off the Bulgor, and more importantly, to screen off that Herdstone. Gavin does have that Bone-Tie Shrieker out right now, which units can't receive the Inspiring Presence or Rally Commands while they're within 12 of it. Obviously, no effect on OBR units. It does have another effect that subtracts 1 from word saves. Beast of Chaos, no word saves in their army. Looks like Gavin has decided to just pull the trigger here. He is sending the Immortus Guard up. Since Nuge did redeploy, those units did end up moving closer to the Immortus Guard. Gavin taking advantage of that, moving the Immortus Guard up, looking to make a long charge. He could end up charging an Archon and the Immortus Guard, fighting with Archon first, trying to pick up as many of those Ungor Raiders first, and then piling in and hitting the Bulgor. Gavin's battle tactic surround. He's got Catacross all the way at the top. He's got Death Riders going up to take out that unit of Ungor Raiders. So they'll be able to end wholly within 6 of the right table edge. And he's moving his other Death Riders down towards the bottom to end wholly within 6 of the bottom table edge. So he's electing perhaps not to kill that Bray Shaman. Chris Schelling coming by asking what's going on in the game. Honestly, I've got no clue. So, tied up here, 10-10. Duel should be on the table. I do believe it is on the table right next to all of those Bulgor, between the Herdstone and 9 Bulgor. Gavin rolling a huge 6 on priority, showing why he is 2-time ITC champ. Gavin Greiger. He is going in for the throat here with a surround. Easy 5-point turn for Gavin, but he's going for the throat here. He's going ruthless mode. He's sending in Archon the Black. He's sending in the 6 Immortus Guard. There are 9 Bulgors all the way at the bottom of your screen. There's 10 Ungor Raiders that are screening them off, well, trying to screen them off. And those Bulgors are really the only thing left on the table that Nuge has that's going to really do any work against the OBR army. It does have some spellcasts with snowballs, so you can throw out those merciless blizzards. However, Archon Black providing that 2-up spell ignore bubble on the left-hand side, also with a +2 to unbind, could just shut down the snowball before he even has to roll the 2-up. So we are in top of 3 OCR Bone Reapers, piloted by Gavin Greiger, facing off against the Nuge Beast of Chaos.
Both players 4-0, fighting off to see who potentially makes it into that top 8 cut. If you've enjoyed the stream coverage so far, we do have 4 other rounds, as well as the invitational from Thursday. You can check out those videos on this channel. I believe they're under the past live broadcast. But after Nova Open is concluded, we will have had 12 games streamed. So 3 to go. This is our 9th game of coverage so far from Nova Open. Ah, thank you. I wouldn't be here without our wonderful viewers. We do it for the people. Hope you're all enjoying this. There have been so many amazing matchups so far here. It's been real tough to find which games to put on stream. I've been trying to make sure to bring you guys a great variety of games. It was really tough to not put on the Gavin Tom Guan match from yesterday. They played round 3. Tom Guan had been undefeated at the Zombies. He won the Invitational with them and matched into Gavin round 3. And that game came down to the wire. It was a 2-point game. It was. He almost put it on, but Tom was already featured the prior day during the Invitational on this stream, and we just knew Gavin would likely end up, no matter what, in that top 8, and would likely be back here on stream anyway. So we did elect not to put it on. Looks like Archon the Black swinging in, picking up that entire screen, and now it's going to be a big choice. Does Gavin pile in with all of these Mortis Guard? Quite a few dice rolls here. I'm going to take a quick peek to the table, see what's happening with these rolls. Gavin's swinging over there now with the Cavalos Death Riders. Looks like Noosh is just picking up models.
Then they're just going to pivot into all those
So, quick update here. What we had was Archon the Black swung into those Ungor Raiders, cleared the screen, and Tom Guan walking by. Tom started the day off in 56 thanks to his loss to Gavin. Won his round 4 game pretty big, moved up to 20th, and has just walked by saying, got my 20-0. So we could very well see the Tom Guan 140 Zombie Menace back in the top 8. Anything goes, Nova Open. But here we go. Archon the Black swung first, cleared the screen. The Immortus Guard are piling in to fight these Bulgors. There is the Death Streaker up, so you cannot inspire and you cannot rally if you're within 12 of that. The Immortus Guard are going to swing here. They're on 3s and 3s, run 2 damage. The Immortus Guard do have the once per battle ability to fight a second time. So he could then activate a second time, pile in again,
and swing. So we're going to see what happens here. The Nuge will likely want to start pulling models from the right-hand side to limit. So 14 damage coming in from the first swing here.
Making a hat trick.
So, Morse Guard, the first volley, did 14 damage. The Nuge, taking a careful look, seeing where he wants to pull it. He had the choice of either pulling him off the right to limit the damage he takes back, in which case the Morse Guard did pop their fight twice, so they have fight last for their second activation. But Nuge looked at it, shook his head, said, I gotta do damage, and immediately pulled the ones in the back. So Doom Bulls are fighting now. He's gonna pile in, fight with them. They've got paired axes. They have an additional 1 rend from the Herdstone. I don't expect a whole lot of damage output from this. And then what's gonna happen is the Mortis Guard are gonna pile in a second time, do a whole bunch more damage. We're gonna see more Burglar get picked up. The Death Streaker is gonna say, no inspiring presence. And then in the Battle Shock phase, we're likely gonna see the rest of the Bulgor just picked up.
That's a good story.
And we might end up just seeing the game talked out from there. But this is top of 3. Gavin's turn. All of this all set up because Nuge won priority on 2 and took it, which put Gavin in the position to double. And Gavin said, thank you for letting me go bottom of 2. Here's a 6 for your turn 3 priority. I'm going to take it. Here's your double turn.
I'll be 1 point short. So be 9.
Tom Gon walking by, informing us to be 1 point short, even though there's still games going on. So
Well, I placed those.
Tom thinks he's probably out of the top 8 cut.
I think they told me. Should have taken the pie. Hell with them.
So Tom, very content no matter where he finishes, because he's just going to play through more games of Warhammer, Lloyd at the table with zombies. So Nuge is looking for a dream here. He's got the cow suit on. He's full cow mode. Looking for a massive conversion, but I just don't think we're going to see it. Sean Clark watching the table, OCR Boom player himself. Doesn't even need to relay me information, has just made a face to me. That says it all. Mortis Guard have a base save of a 3 up. They're 5 wounds each, I believe. Gavin rolling dice. Kills 3 Mortis Guard, but that does mean that 3 more Mortis Guard are about to swing back at him. So here comes the second activation from the Mortis Guard. Gavin looking to pick up even more of these Bulgor, which will be forced to take Battle Shock because of that Bone Shrieker that you see just to the north of them. Looks like about 3 more Bulgor picked up. He's got 2 Bulgor left, and he's probably within 12 of that Bone Shrieker, which means no Inspiring Presence. The rest of the Bulgors have fled. So Gavin, after taking the top of 3, is up 15 to 10 right now. Nuge still has his bottom of 3, but not a whole lot left on the table. Gonna take a quick peek, see what he has left on the table to work with. I believe the Zangor Shaman might be alive somewhere, still probably has a Doom Bowl. There might not be much else there.
That's pretty good, right?
Age of Sigmar players. Can I have as many people in here by gather around PvP?
Can't help that.
If you're not deep into your games,
Being joined here by the Tom Guan, the Guan of the Dead.
Currently, we cut it at 8th.
You heard it here. If we cut it immediately, he's 8th, but
Stop the count.
he sounds like he thinks he's going to be dropping down to 9th and not making the top 8 cut. Still a lot of Warhammer games still to conclude here.
It will be good. I'm just tight. Look at that.
Thanks everyone. I just
Did
want to take
you
a
not
minute to
loiter enough
acknowledge
objectives this weekend? Is that what the problem was?
No, Power Flux. I couldn't. Like, Power Flux only hold 1 at a time. There's OBR shit in the way.
The players' choice favourite army that you
Did
will
lose
vote
to
for
Gavin.
was the deep hits. And so Stockholm versus London.
What happened?
A couple of words being announced right now.
And also super up there on the Best Dressed Award too. So congratulations, Scott. Thanks for being here. We'll miss you. Have a great weekend, everyone.
A couple of players have elected to drop after the round 5 games concluded, including what sounds like the last of our Deepkin players. So without even having to play out 8 games, they're awarding the best Deepkin player.
Slippery. Can't stop those guys.
And Anthony Trentinelli, being the only Flesh Eater Court player, only had to show up for 1 game to win best.
I mean,
For
he
Flesh
is
Eater Court.
he is the worst Flesh Eater Courts player at Nova.
He is. Do we just give him an award and immediately take it away from him? Just keep it on a little fishing pole?
Oh, Caleb Walters.
Yep.
5-0, baby. Oh. Dean is in.
So the Dean Bills Chai Zola game, what happened was Chai's still very rusty. He hasn't played a lot of Warhammer lately.
Yeah.
Ruptured his crown spine
Oh.
while he was within 3 of his army.
Yeah. Excellent. Oh, Jacob Brandon beat Nick Walters.
Yep. So we have Cruel Boys at 5-0. The
Maybe-
Leo Routinen matchup,
Yeah.
playing Sons of the Hamlet for
Yeah.
I think at least the 2nd time with the 90 mortal wounds over 2 hero phases.
Yes, Nerf Legion of Night, not the other one.
Absolutely nothing wrong with zombies. So, quick recap of what happened this round. Gavin rolling a 6 for priority, sending in Archon the Black to clear the screen of Ungor Raiders. 6 Immortus Guard going in with the Bone Tie Streaker to prevent any sort of inspiring presence.
the Immortus card cleared out about 2 or 3 of the Bulgors. Activated their fight twice, but they have to fight last. Bulgor killed 3 of the Immortus. Noosh was thinking about possibly pulling the ones that were in the front to limit the amount of damage coming into them, but said, I have to do damage here. Pulled the ones from the back, swung, killed 3 Mortis Guard. The rest of the Mortis Guard swung back. He had 2 Bulgors left. So 7 of them died from the double activation, and then had to flee from Battle Shock to that Bone Tie Shrieker. So start of the Nooj's bottom of 3, he only has 1 Zangor Enlightened on the table, 1 Zangor Shaman, and a Bulgor.
I think this is
3 models.
I think this is what they call the business. It's ogre. It's all ogre now.
It's all ogre now.
Which there was a lot of ogre players at this GT, which I'm surprised about because I do not value them very. I don't think they're very good competitively. I think they're cool looking.
There is a bit of a Maryland crowd, the Team Big Chungus, the Knights of the Pond. So there is a lot of love for ogres in this area, more so than I think a lot of other areas. So meta in different areas, different regions of the country, and then even in different countries does shift a little bit.
I think they're saying they're talking it out because it looks doomed.
Yeah, Noosh only has like 3 models left.
Congrats, Gavin, beating up 3 Asian person to get into the top 8.
Gavin being an absolute menace.
Yeah.
Showing why he's the 2-time ITC champ. And we have an update too. Noah did win his belt match earlier.
The Sing.
So both our players talking out this game. Gavin will be advancing to the top 8. Not sure we'll have a final score just yet. They're going to keep talking it out, but they're kind of picking up their models. But I think we can call it there. Gavin packing it up. Round officially ends in another 30 minutes. Our results are Caleb, Dean, Gavin, Jacob, Leo, Noah, all with 5-0s.
So that's 6, right?
And then Owen Jackson won his game.
Let's see.
So looking to see if we can get an update on their placings. Yeah, Leo 5-0, Caleb 5-0, Dean 5-0, Jacob Brandon Cruel Boys 5-0. And then Gavin will be 5-0 as well. Looks like we'll have to get some point updates later. Anthony Trentinelli looks like he's currently the top of the 4-1 bracket with Flesh Eater Quartz.
He should be in because he was pretty high.
He's tied with Scooter at 4-1. Scooter looks like he could be in too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
So Noah with a 5-0, Gavin with 5-0. That looks like to be your top 8 bracket. Again, Leo, Caleb, Dean, Jacob, Anthony, and Scooter, along with Gavin and Noah. So we'll have 1 Soulblight Gravelords, Legion of Night, Nagash List, Disciples of Zinj, Guild of Summoners, an Osiark Bone Reapers Petrifex Elite, joined also by Gavin's Osiark Bone Reapers Null Myriad, 1 Cruel Boys list, the Grin and Blades, a Flesh Eater Quartz Hollowmorn, Iron Jaws Blood Tooths, and then the Beast of Chaos that Noah is rocking, the Dark Walkers.
I don't think my results got put in yet. Look at my name. Yeah.
If you look at the website, the updated standings are on the website.
Yeah, I'm 9th. I called it. Let's go.
But this is without Gavin, yeah. Okay. So you're going to be 10th and Owen will be 9th.
So, still some games left to enter. These
If
will
I get
change
6
just a little
points,
bit,
I'd make it in.
but looks like we're going to wrap it up. 30 minutes left in this round. There will be an hour break. There will be some players that will be dropping. The remainder of the players will be seated in the 8-player pods. We'll have a top 8 cut. The final 3 games that we're going to be streaming, we've got round 6 coming back to you about 5 p.m. Eastern Time. There's going to be an hour break in about 30 minutes. And we'll be streaming round 6 and then round 7 and 8 tomorrow, all of which will only be exclusively from that top 8 cut, that top 8 pod. The best of the best, the cream of the crop. Only those that rise to the top.
So hopefully we'll catch you there. And if you're curious to see any of the prior rounds, you can catch those, the prior games, on the channel under the live.
And we'll see you back in about 90 minutes for round 6, the first round of the top 8 cut, coming here from Nova Open. Hope everyone's having a good day. See you soon.